This time you will see how to organize your controllers and actions around resources and how to use HTTP verbs properly. First, let's say what a resource is or what it can be. For example, using the terms from our example application, an event is a resource, user is a resource, event attendee is a resource. So often, a database entity or database table is a good candidate for a resource. Every resource might have a list of operations that can be performed on it, like create, read, update, and delete. This is often abbreviated as CRUD. In this lecture, we will create an events controller to illustrate how to create a CRUD controller, what HTTP verbs to use, how to name your actions. This might serve as a blueprint for you later on, so you'll have one less thing to worry about and to think about. Start with manually creating the events.controller.ts file. Just a side note, Nest CLI can help you out scaffolding controllers and other types of classes, but let's keep that for later. First off, let's type the class definition. So this is export class events controller. Then you need to annotate it with a controller decorator. You might also need to import it from this Nest.js common namespace. Also, don't worry about how decorators work too much right now. Later on, we will create our own, so you'll be more than comfortable with them. So remember, we are working with the event resource here. CRUD actions are create, read, update, and delete. So we have at least 4 actions here. Typically, you will have 5 actually, as you want an action that can return a list of all resources and a single resource. So let's start with a find all for listing resources. Then find one should return one resource. Create, update, remove are probably self-explanatory. That's our goal actually. Keeping controllers tied with specific resources make those controllers thin. This is a good thing and a good practice to keep your controllers as thin as possible. We want this controller to have a path prefix /events. So you need to put that into the controller decorator. Then the HTTP verbs. Find all and find one are get operations. Create is post, as post is used in HTTP to create a new resource. Update would be path, as what we want is to be able to update only specific properties of an object. If you'd use put verb, it would require to send all resource properties every time. Then the remove action requires the delete verb. Notice that all those verb decorators have to be imported from the same namespace as the controller decorator. The last thing to do is to register the controller with Nest. Remember this. Every time you create a controller, the module it is created in needs to be aware of that. Open the app module and add the newly created controller to the controllers array. You mustn't forget that you actually need to import this class first. Now let's go to Postman to check if all of those endpoints do work. So you should visit /events, and they work because you actually have a response even though it is empty. So checking that for get, for post, for patch, and for delete. We get empty responses, but, well, they are correct 200, which means they can be reached. If you would try with put, which we haven't defined, you would see an error. Now we are not done yet, as currently we can't identify the individual resource by ID. So basically getting one event, updating or deleting event is not really possible, but we'll learn how to achieve that in the next lecture. In the meantime, here's the recap. Build small controllers around resources. Try to keep every controller thin and having at most 5 basic CRUD operations. If you feel the urge to add more actions, maybe you just need a new resource. Resource does not always mean a database table, it can be something more abstract too. You'll see more examples later. You can use decorators like get or post to specify the HTTP verb and the path of the operation. It's a good idea to call your actions in a descriptive way. Having CRUD controllers allows you to use the same set of names in every controller, simplifying things a lot.